वेलकम बैक टू फुटबॉल ब्लडी हेल। आज हमारे साथ है वापस कौस्तुभ फ्रॉम कैल्सियो चर्चा। अगर लास्ट टाइम आपको याद हो तो हमने एक इंटेंस डिस्कशन किया था अबाउट यूनाइटेड प्रोफाइल के कैसे साइन करने चाहिए एमोरियम के अंदर एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा। आई नो आईपीएल चालू है, लॉट ऑफ पीपल उनके थोड़े डिस्ट्रैक्शंस है क्योंकि कौस्तुभ क्लब फुटबॉल pretty much बाउंड अप हो गया प्रीमियर लीग में, और यूसीएल के नाम पे तो यूसीएल में भी टेक्निकली वी नो मोस्ट लाइकली कहाँ जा रहा है। तो आई नो कि ये पार्ट ऑफ द सीजन है वेयर सर्टेन फैंस आर लाइक और क्या है फ्लेवर ऑफ द मंथ, क्या देख सकते हैं। तो आईपीएल इज ऑलवेज देयर, राइट? बट हमारे लिए बहुत डिस्कस करने लिए। बट फर्स्टली वेलकम बैक, हाउ आर यू डूइंग?
गुड। जब से द लास्ट टाइम आई केम तब से तो काफी कुछ चेंज हो चुका है। यूनाइटेड हैव स्टार्टेड प्लेइंग बेटर, Italian football has changed in a way, I guess. So yeah, काफी कुछ ऐसा, there's a transition. And I guess the last time we spoke, the points we sort of mentioned, we've seen them unfold as well, honestly, because I remember watching the previous game and thinking, yeah, this is what we spoke about, the physical aspects and everything. So yeah, glad that something we spoke about is actually being somewhat seen during United games.
मेरी एक वहां पे शिकायत है, आई डोंट नो इफ यू कैन से शिकायत और व्हाटएवर, आई थिंक मोर ऑफ, मुझे लगता है कि जो गेम्स में हमने जो प्रोफाइल देखा है, जो गेम्स में हमने इम्प्रूवमेंट देखा है यूनाइटेड का, I think those were the easier games. Don't you think there is slight criticism?
Yeah, I agree. Especially the Sociedad game. I thought that was rigged, to be very blunt. I'm a United fan, but I still feel Sociedad were hard done by. And the fact that there was a red card, these refereeing decisions made it very easy for us. I agree that Sociedad were not at their best generally. We would have anyway won that game, I feel, because Sociedad were not really in the game even otherwise. For the first 10 minutes ke beyond, you could not really see them play between them. They were just going long and everything. But I feel like I very much agree that a lot of them have been weaker oppositions. A lot of them have probably been like flukes. But I guess it happens at this point where you're in the very initial stage of your evolution. These points matter. So we speak of Højlund doesn't really have that confidence. A lot of United's attacking players don't have the confidence. So I feel like games like these, results like these, just help your attacking players to gain confidence. And I think about this often, that there are two positions in football where confidence really matters. One is the center forward position, and second is a goalkeeping position. Rest of it is fine, but if you look at it, I guess percentage wise, strikers ke liye, goalkeepers ke liye, confidence matters a lot. And if your team as a whole is growing confident regardless of how the results are coming, fluke results, red card ki wajah se result aaya, I guess the team generally gains confidence. And I guess Højlund may have seen the last two games, he looks more into it, if I may say it. The last two games, he has had these better performances. So I feel like, yeah, it will help the players. I know there were aspects of it which we can say and look at and say, yeah, this is a weaker opposition. But I guess at the same time, it helps us and a lot of our attacking players, because the main problem was these attacking players have zero confidence to finish, zero confidence to make the right decision in the final third. Once they start believing that they're doing the right things, how much ever that comes, I guess it helps.
Sure, देखो continuity, like you said, at least कुछ end result है यार. There is some build up or there is some confidence कि हाँ इतना सब try किया है 3 महीने में. चलो 3 महीने भी नहीं, last few training sessions आपने देख लो तो let's say February से there, like you said, there's some momentum and result. Yeah, Sociedad got hard done by, ठीक है, you know, that's football. Respectfully, हमारे साथ इतना हुआ है last 8 साल में, I cannot have lost count honestly. Especially against Real Sociedad, I can't believe 2
Yeah.
generous penalties, and 3 if you count Licha Martinez. मतलब वही
Yeah.
opposition के सामने इतने generous penalties, ridiculous bad luck. तो चलो फुटबॉल इक्वलाइजर होता है, वो मिल गया. But I agree with you कि at least on the Rasmus Højlund bit की personality, immediately you can see कि personality change हो गई उसकी है.
Hmm.
He's come out more aggressive, लग रहा है कि confident है. You know the way you walk, कुछ छोटी छोटी चीजें में फर्क आ गया है, right?
Even
But
Zirkzee for that.
yeah,
I guess more
Xerxes,
Zirkzee than Hoyland, I guess.
but Xerxes जब से उसको निकाला गया था बॉक्सिंग डे मैच के टाइम, right? I
हाँ, yeah.
think since then it's not been a big issue for him. जब भी उसको वापस टीम में इंटीग्रेट किया था Amorim ने, let's say Jan end, right? He looks like he wants to try, and match
Hmm.
on match improvements are there. Like literally he has improved a player. You can say ना वो 5% every match improve कर रहा है. He's
Hmm.
not gone one game where he scored 2 goals for us. He's done 3 assists or anything. वो प्रोफाइल नहीं है उसका. Bit by
Hmm.
bit, January से लेके March, उसने 5%, 5%, 5% वो cumulative improvement किया है.
Hmm.
Holland has gone from basically 2 echo है थोड़ा. That's what I was thinking. I think it's bothering people. Just give me a second. I will just join back. 1 second. All right. I don't know if that helps. How about now?
I don't hear
I
any.
think I know. But if everybody else, anyone's hearing an echo, please let me know. अगर जो अभी भी echo है. But Rasmus Højlund का क्या था कि it's been pretty much zero confidence, zero attempts on goal matches में, back against goal, not being able to
Hmm.
trap the ball, not winning headers. एंड ओके चलो अभी एक गोल मारा पोर्चुगल के सामने, एक गोल मारा, as in however you want to say it, he scored a goal for Manchester United finally, ending his drought, right?
Hmm.
Propelling United towards 13 in the Premier League table. But on a serious note, it's not enough, is it? Rasmus Højlund is not the answer for the next 2 years. He is still 21. अब मुझे बहुत लोग बोलते हैं कि एक 21-year-old को एटलीस्ट इंस्टिंक्ट तो होना चाहिए फुटबॉल का. डिसएग्री तो नहीं कर सकते कॉस्टो पे. देयर इज इंस्टिंक्ट इन अ प्लेयर, अ नेचुरल स्ट्राइकर्स इंस्टिंक्ट. बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स में हुआ है 15-14 साल से. बहुत सारे लोग ट्रेन करते हैं, तो इट इज नॉट इम्पॉसिबल और इट इज नॉट अनहर्ड ऑफ. बट क्या हमारा नेक्स्ट नंबर 9 वो एक ऑप्शन है कि आप रास्मस हॉलैंड और जर्सी को मत बेचो और लो में मत जाने दो? दैट्स माय लार्जर पॉइंट ऑफ दिस एपिसोड. व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट दिस?
I honestly feel even though letting Hoyland go will make us regret a lot of things, because the club he'll go to,
Of
he'll
course.
probably score a lot of goals. Because we're hearing he'll probably end up at Napoli. Abhi, we don't really know if that will be the case because there's a lot of interest from Serie. And the way things are as of now, if he goes to Napoli, he's scoring goals. Conte being the manager. If he goes, say hypothetically, if he goes back to Atlanta strikers score shitloads of goals. To be frank, they score at least 20 goals a season. Juve, Milan, Roma, we don't know. They're like unstable clubs for now. But it's like if say hypothetically he goes to Borussia Dortmund, he's scoring goals, and I feel like as much as we might regret selling him on, the financial situation is such that there is still a lot of value in it. To say we sell him on for 55 million, 50 million. I guess if we amortize that sum, we're pretty much, leveling up or balancing the books. कि जितना दिया था उतना मिल जाएगा if you amortize everything. So I guess in that sense, considering the financial situation, selling him will make sense. But at the same time, I feel like I've seen enough of that instinct and character in him. जब वो Atlanta में था. But I guess the problem is, how do I say it? I guess हमने last time ये बात discuss करी थी कि this is Man United. So much of it is a bigger problem where the summer is going to be important because financial reasons की वजह से we don't really know what players Amorim is gonna get. Will they even be the ones that he wants, or will they be just randomly assembled that the club wants? So how will that impact him? But financially, it will make sense to move him on. Um, but again, I guess वो regret होगा. So I'm so sure of it. There will be a regret. He's what, 22? He goes to any other club, they sign him for 50 million, 45 million, 50 million, 40 million, stuff like that. On a 4-year contract, that's like 10 million a season if you amortize the funds. That's like a decent figure for a 22-year-old, regardless of which league he goes to. And I think his wages are also not that high. So he's fairly affordable for a Serie A club for now. So I think he goes there, scores goals, and then we end up regretting it. But I guess the situation is, if, say, hypothetically, Mino goes, there will be riots across the entire area, Salford to Trafford.
मेरे ख्याल से माइनो को नहीं जाने देंगे. आई थिंक आई नो इनियोस को पब्लिक में एक स्टांस दिखाना है कि यार नहीं देखो वी कैपिंग सैलरीज, ऑफलोडिंग कैसेमीरो, ऑफलोडिंग सैंचो, ऑफलोडिंग रैशफोर्ड. 3 हैवी हिटर्स जो बाकी है. हैवी हिटर्स में इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ क्योंकि हेवीली हिट कर रहे हैं हमारे स्क्वाड बिल्डिंग को. बट ब्रूनो फर्नांडिस बीइंग देन द लास्ट प्लेयर ऑन अ डिसेंट वेज, ठीक है. आई थिंक कोई माइनो 1 साल तो और रखेंगे यार. आई थिंक अनलेस डायर इशू, इट्स वेरी वेरी बैड कि समझो दिस समर विंडो गोज वेरी बैडली और बाकी सारे क्लब्स ने हमारे प्लेयर छीन लिए. हमारे पास कोई ट्रांसफर टारगेट नहीं है. द स्क्वाड इज वेरी चीप दैट वी गेट. आई थिंक देन यू सेल योर माइनो गर्नाचो. आई थिंक माइनो गर्नाचो and all these players you let go of means it's a I think the rebuild हम 2027 बोल रहे हैं. The next capability of challenging for the Premier League would be 2030. And sorry,
Yeah,
chat, I want to ask one more time: is the echo still there? Let me know. Ha, tell me.
I think it's fine now. अब ठीक है, I guess. So I mean, Garnacho is gone. I think Garnacho is done. And I feel for him as well because it's like a club issue. All of it was a club issue. And he was probably gone in January if he hadn't requested for a higher wage when Napoli came calling. So I feel like Garnacho is gone. He'll be the major sale. Beyond that, if there is still a need, Hoyland hai. Or I guess Maino's situation is weird because I think there is something going on between the club and his people. You see a lot of back and forth briefing going on. And when that happens, it's not a good sign, be it in the short term or the medium term. You feel like Ornstein ne kuch report kara. The very next day, you get something from the Daily Mail or the Telegraph saying that something which favors Mainu ka side more. So I feel like there is something definitely going on, which tells me that if not this summer, जैसे आपने बोला, if not this summer, then he'll, depending on how the situation is, what the offers are, he's gonna leave. And I think I won't blame him for leaving either. I mean, he's just leaving a club that doesn't really have a good reputation of budding players. So in that sense, I won't blame him. But coming back to Hoyland, as much as I would want him to stay, because again, there's still a very good player in there. And months ago, he had broken the 15 goal mark. I mean, for Hoyland, what a lot of people don't realize, and that's, I guess, being a bit unkind on the player, because this is a guy who has made these quick moves. It's not as if वो एक club में 2 साल रहा और एक club में 3 साल रहा. It's like he's just gone from one club to another, spent 6 months there, next club 1 season, came to United. That's how it's been for him. And that's not easy. Although it tells you that this individual is very good at adapting to, situations. But at the same time, I feel like he's come into a club where everything's unstable from top to bottom. And abhi मैंने बोला, it's goal scoring is all about confidence. So I guess it's a combination of a lot of different things. Last season he broke the 15 goal mark. So yeah, I guess people are just being very very unkind on him because it's difficult. If you look at his career journey, it's been very hop hop hop. He's just moving from here to here to here to here. So I guess it just impacts you after one point, especially if you're at Man United, that unstable club.
देखो fair enough. I agree with you. I think एक regret जैसा है. And हॉयलैंड को आई थिंक जो यहाँ पे माजिद ने भी बोला है राइट कि आई थिंक द फ्यूचर प्लान शुड स्टिल बी कि बिल्ड योर टीम अराउंड अ गाय जो मोस्ट लाइकली रहने वाला है यहाँ पे इतने साल.
Yeah.
स्टिल एको आई थिंक
I
I
think one
sorry
thing.
guys, I do not know why there's an echo. I have tried my best to remove it. I have tried my best to eliminate it. I think Kaustubh is not getting the echo, but we all are, right?
No,
Sadly, Kaustubh, I
works
don't
for
know
me.
what the
मेरे को
issue
बिल्कुल
is,
ठीक है.
but yeah. Anyway, I will check it out. Kaustubh, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I've lost you now. Aye. This is the first one. I don't know what the issue is with it. I have lost Kaustubh. Just give me a second. Trying to fix this out, see what the issue is.
Hello.
Yo, Drax. Hi, guys. Kaustubh, can you talk again? Sorry.
Is it better? Once.
Uh, there's a so I think the lag is coming from your end. Do you have a? Are you connected to a mic or something?
Is it better? I've just changed my connection.
Yeah, it's better, but there is a slight lag in the noise. So I'm just doing. Sorry, guys, bear with us. Let me just check. साउंड टेस्ट इज गोइंग ऑन. हाय गाइस, एवरीबॉडी इन चैट, कीप द कमेंट्स गोइंग. आपका नंबर 9 यूनाइटेड के बारे में क्या राय है, क्या चर्चा है? प्लीज लेट मी नो. We are just figuring out what the issue is. Why is there a delay? What is the issue? So we're just figuring that out. Lag over here. Just give us a second. What do you all think about the number 9 chat? Okay, who should be the next? Not, I mean, next number 9, nahi hai, more like a conjoined number 9. Okay, till Rasmus Hoyland develops. Yeah, I got some.
Is it better?
I think it is good. Chat, let us know if the echo is still there. I think so. Hopefully, it's better. Hopefully, it's
I'm not
better.
hearing any echo whatsoever.
Hopefully, chat is good with it. Because I thought one of maybe someone is complaining it'd be an issue, but everyone was saying it. I'm like, kuch to issue ho gaya.
I think all good.
Yeah. Let's try this again. All right. Kaustubh, are you lagging? Are you here? Sorry, chat, for all the technical delays, trying to figure out kya ho gaya suddenly. Today is a bad day with this. Kaustubh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, can I?
Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay, guys, I think we're good now. I think everything's been fixed. I think there was some audio relay with
Yeah.
your audio device and mine. I think it happened once with me, unfortunately, very embarrassingly on PL live on that fan zone where my audio device didn't sync. I was like echoing everywhere. Thank you, chat. Thank you so much for being helpful. I really appreciate it. I know conversation का flow टूट गया, but like we were discussing what Kaustubh said, right? कि and I agree with what Mazida said. If Mazida is still here, कि end of the day अगर जो यूनाइटेड ने साइन किया था रास्मस हॉयलैंड को, yes, United overpay back then for everybody, but 75 million for a 20-year-old back then, 19-year-old back then from Atlanta was key. At least 5 6 years, at least 5 years till 25 24, he's your player. Hopefully develop hoga and you get 100 million from him when he wants to move on, right? Basics of football वहां पे था. And secondly, like you said, Garnacho के बारे में, Garnacho Costa was always a player जो मुझे लगा never going to see out his life in United. Always one who hopefully wanted to develop into the next big player, next big thing, go to Real Madrid. You know what I'm saying? Real Madrid का vibe है ये player में, right? Day one से. I felt like he always wanted to go to Real Madrid, Garnacho. So Garnacho going is not a loss. Garnacho going at 25 would have been ideal, not at current stage Garnacho, right? But I think there is no option, unfortunately, जो Garnacho के बारे में है.
Hmm.
So somehow we sell Garnacho, and you're saying Garnacho is done. Chad, what do you think about that, Garnacho leaving? So let's say cost of Garnacho is a done deal, like you said. I kind of agree with you, Merely. I think it was a very small basic factor that the deal collapsed on. So let's say you raise your funds from Garnacho, profit goes a long way. Jadon Sancho is going to go no matter what. We will send him back to Dortmund on loan for nothing. Rashford ये टीम इंटीग्रेट तो होने वाला नहीं है, right? And Rasmus Højlund stays because Rasmus Højlund needs 2 years. I know कि whatever you say instinct नहीं है, वो नहीं है, वो नहीं है. But what your point was and what chat had said this in last stream में, if confidence is such a long thing, like you said, it just goes a long way. Agar jo you are confident, you know that back heel from Xerxes blindly goes in. But at least he tried over
Yeah.
back heel. Xerxes ke cross se.
Hmm.
He would not even tried that 3 games back. Forget about the previous game. Like, oh, I say it was that recent. So let's
I
say,
mean,
take it.
one thing a lot of people forget, sorry to interrupt, a lot of far, far better strikers than Holland have had their careers changed because of lack of confidence. Shevchenko won the Ballon d'Or, came to Chelsea, lost confidence, out of position. We saw his career change. I mean, Holland is absolutely nothing when you consider how big a problem that can be. So it's, I guess, very normal for someone like Holland to face that problem. I mean, Martial has had that problem. I mean, I'm talking Man United zone issue. Like, you have a lot of these. One example is probably Vincent Janssen, came from AZ Alkmaar to Spurs, had a very good goal scoring record in English Eredivisie. Had a lot of chances, started to just rush into chances, lost confidence, got sold. It's just that. Strikers are just half of it is simply confidence. The rest of it is positioning and everything. Your where you are in the box, how you receive it and everything. So yeah, I have a lot of sympathy for it, to be very frank. A lot of people just abuse him for not scoring goals, but the problem is this was a problem even last season where he, um, you know, that 4 month period where he couldn't really score goals. There was no service. Champions League he scored those goals. A lot of them were just individual goals in the Champions League. Bayern wale goals, those the group stage goals. A lot of them were just him being really good, and then that translated to the Premier League. So that tells you that Haaland is a confidence player. So we've seen evidence of that. So and a service player as well. So once you give him service and he starts to grow confident, there's I have no worry that he'll score at least 50 in a season. Because he literally did that in what half a season last under 10 half, and that was under 10 half. So he is a confidence player. So we need to give that space to him as well because you know I can name X amount of strikers, the world's best. Shevchenko bola मैंने, won the Ballon d'Or, lost confidence, fell off a ridge, had to go back on loan. to Milan, never really recovered. So many players of that type. So Hoyland kuch bhi nahi in front of that problem. He's just one of the thousands out there.
Okay. So speaking of that, chalo, that is Rasmus Højlund conundrum. Not conundrum. Rasmus Højlund diagnosis की क्या issue है उसका अभी, क्या hope है? Potentially it could go how many. रास्मस हॉलैंड को बेचे तो कितनी तरह से बुरी हो सकती है, रास्मस हॉलैंड को रखे तो बुरा हो सकता है, बट बाय एंड लार्ज जो हमारी सिचुएशन है, देखो यार, रास्मस हॉलैंड कहाँ पे नहीं जाने वाला है. रिस्पेक्टफुली अगर जो आपको चाहिए कि मैसिव स्क्वाड रीबिल्ड हो, ऑनस्टीन ने बोला कि 10 प्लेयर आएंगे जाएंगे, वो सब वेरी सिंपली पुट गाइज, ऑड्स आर कि अभी भी जर्क्सी लोन पे चले जाए वापस सीरिया ए में फॉर हॉलैंड गोइंग एनीवेयर. ठीक है, यहाँ से वो बात शुरू होती है कि आपको क्या लगता है चैट, हमारा नेक्स्ट नंबर 9, इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ कंटिन्यूएशन है ये. हम ऐसे तो नहीं बोल रहे कि आप हॉलैंड को रिप्लेस कर रहे हो, बट समझो आप हॉलैंड को 2 साल एक लीज ऑफ लाइफ दे रहे हो, जब को आपको लगता है कि वो प्लेयर में फिजिकलिटी हो सकती है, वो प्लेयर में फिनेस आ सकता है, बट अभी करंटली मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड का जो प्रेशर है उस पे, उसे सस्टेन नहीं हो रहा वो प्रेशर. ठीक है, सी मैंने थंबनेल में, एंड कौस्तुभ विल आल्सो अग्री विद दिस, द रीजन मैंने ओसिमन का नाम नहीं डाला यहाँ पे माजिद, बिकॉज एग्जैक्टली हमारा डायग्नोसिस जो है इज ओसिमन्स आर द प्रॉब्लम फॉर दिस क्लब. द ओसिमन्स, द स्टॉप गैप साइनिंग्स, राइट. जैसे उनकी जो ओसिमन ने रियलिस्टिकली क्वारा के साथ नापोली को टाइटल जिताया है, नो वन डिसएग्रीज. कोई भी बोलेगा भी, नापोली फैंस ही बोलेंगे तो वो डिल्यूशनल होंगे. कौस्तुभ इज बेटर देन मी टू एक्सप्लेन टू यू कि ओसिमन का इम्पैक्ट क्या रहा था वहां पे, और अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसका वातावरण, उसके आजू बाजू वाले जो उसके सिर में दिमाग में जो भी डाल रहे हैं, वो यूनाइटेड में नहीं लाना हमको. एंड लॉट ऑफ पीपल से अरे फर्क नहीं पड़ता, यू कांट बी लाइक दिस, पीपल हैव एटीट्यूड, पीपल विद एटीट्यूड आर द वंस हु विल टेक अ क्लब अहेड. नो, मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड में अभी वो नहीं चलेगा. ज़्लाटान इब्राहिमोविच वाज द लास्ट पर्सन जो आप एटीट्यूड के साथ दे सकते थे कि वो कुछ कर लेता, उसने करके दिखाया भाई. उसके जो करियर में उसको सीरियस इंजरी नहीं होती, उसको वो हुई, उसके बाद भी उसने आगे गोल मारे थे. Respectfully, you cannot have players of Zlatan's ego when they've achieved not that much, जहां पे यूनाइटेड की परिस्थिति ऑलरेडी इतनी खराब है. तो मासिद, आई डोंट वांट टू सी ओसिमन यहाँ पे at 200k. We don't need 200k wages का स्ट्राइकर या ये in that way. देखो 200k शायद ऑली वॉटकिंस भी ले लेगा, आई एम नॉट सेइंग नो, अंडरस्टैंड दैट, बट 63 मिलियन रिलीज क्लॉज, 200k a week, मैथ तो ठीक लग रहा है. ठीक है, डोंट थिंक ही इज, बट माजिद मैं आपको यही बोल रहा हूँ, ही इज नॉट दैट गाय हूज गोना बी अ 5 years. उसके जो व्हाट्स राइट इज उसका ऑन्टराज उसके दिमाग में भूसरा डाल रहा है एकदम. जैसे वो नापोली से निकला है, यस इटली में उसके बहुत प्रॉब्लम रहे हैं, यस रेसिज्म के एक्यूजेशंस बहुत थे राइफ, तो उसको इटली से निकलना था, तो इटालियन प्रेस ने भी उसकी थोड़ी धज्जा उड़ा दी. आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट, बट मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड शुड लुक बियॉन्ड आइवन टोनी एंड ओसिमन. इवन दो हम बोल रहे हैं कि हमारी परिस्थिति इतनी खराब है, जिसको आने तो पैसा दे दो, बट वही एटीट्यूड से कौस्तुभ, वी आर हियर इन दिस पोजीशन जहां पे वो 10 प्लेयर बेच के, रिलीज करके, वेजेस रिलीज करके, सेल करके, आके पैसा जुटा के ऐसे 2-3 रुपया प्लेयर्स बाय करना है. तो माजिद, अगर जो आपने मुझे बोला होता और 3 साल पहले, 2 साल पहले, आई वुड लाइक माजिद इज बैंग ऑन, दिस इज अ वेरी नो नॉनसेंस नंबर. 200k, wow, like compared to 300, 350, insane. Like look at Casemino's wages, look at his peak. ऑसिमन करंटली थोड़ा मुझे लग रहा है कि इज नो गारंटी कि कौन सा ऑसिमन शो अप करेगा प्रीमियर लीग में. क्या वो नापोली वाला शो अप करेगा, क्या वो स्टॉप गैप वाला शो अप करेगा जहां पे इश्यूज था. देखो टर्की में वो गोल मार रहा है, मारने दो, ठीक है, बट रिस्पेक्टफुली इट्स अ वेरी डिफरेंट बॉल गेम टर्की में. आई एम नॉट बीइंग अ डिक, इट्स जस्ट व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग यू, आई फील. बट व्हाट डू यू थिंक, आपको लगता है कौस्तुभ की ऑसिमन का नाम मैंने बहुत ही ब्रॉडली काइंड ऑफ रूडली डिसमिस कर दिया है, और देयर इज वैल्यू देयर?
I don't know, because honestly, to me, if you look at Osimhen in that United team, tactically, United will at least score 20 more goals with Osimhen. I'm not saying Osimhen khud marega, but the way he functions at his best, he can use his movement to just create chances. Like if even if if you have an average creator, like average creators behind Osimhen, and he's moving the way he does, uska jo final third movement hai, the way he just drags defenses with his, he will make sure that a team scores 20 more goals in a season. He just he can carry an attack basically, and to me, he is still the top three strikers in Europe right now. Strikers, I'm talking about strikers, not forward players, because he creates something out of nothing. So you can have बहुत बार होता है कि you have these moments where games are cagey. It's nil-nil. You're heading into the 80th minute. You need someone to do something weirdly extraordinary.
Sorry, Kaustubh,
He
I
just
just lost
does it.
your video is lagged fully. Sorry.
Is it better?
There's a lag, but the video is better now. Go for it. Yeah. I don't know. I think suddenly there's a lag between your audio and your video.
I think connection problem or something. But okay. I think coming to the point, I think tactically he suits any team out there very well. Be it your Premier League top 6, top 7, top 8, or I personally think he's going to Juventus. Just so I make it clear. Because he wants Juventus stuff is going on in the background, probably. Um, Napoli fans will hate that, especially after Higuain. Their own sporting director going there. A lot of things. Um, I think he's going to Juve, but I think Osimhen, in isolation, the person that Osimhen is, he's very easy to like, personality-wise. He comes to United, becomes a fan favorite, hypothetically. He becomes a fan favorite, people start to love him. But the problem with him at Napoli was that it's Napoli. Once De Laurentiis has his mind made up that this guy is going to leave, things will in the background, which will just ruin the relationship somehow. Which he's done with a lot of players. With Hamsik, unka club legend. Did that with Quara. Did that with a lot of players. With Higuain himself. So I feel like Napoli approach towards selling players, it's very, how do I say, chindi in a way. So they just villainize a player regardless of what his status is. And obviously, if the entourage of that player hits back, obviously it's the player who gets villainized, because the reputation that a lot of people will have is that, oh, he's a problem, which is fair, which I get. It's a bit of a problem. Osimhen's entire entourage and the agents and everyone. But I think United ka model is completely different now. The way the recruitment will work, it will look at signing players like Doku or Zirkzee for that matter. They'll find these opportunities in the market, not these big names. Plus, I think a lot of Osimhen links have come from people around him, not from United ka side. So it's more like, because Osimhen ka dream has always been to play in the Premier League, specifically to play for Chelsea because of Drogba and everything. But I think he will play in the Premier League sometime later, but I don't think it'll be United. It's just United ka name being used, being put out. United made contact when we tried to do that Ronaldo Osimhen swap deal. When was it? 2022, 23? I don't remember. Didn't go through because too little time left in the window. But I think even if there's something there, I think United have moved on. It's United ka approach towards signing players has completely changed. I mean, not fee-wise. Fee-wise, they can compromise as they did with Zirkzee, probably. Holland bhi keh sakte hain. I know different ownership Glazers did that move. But I think the age profile and the type of player they want has now changed. They want a player who is younger, cheaper, and can probably offer a higher resale value, instead of a 26-year-old, 27-year-old who comes in, leaves when he's 30, 31, leaves for what? A lesser fee unless Ballon d'Or jeet gaya or something like that, which is not going to happen at Man United. So I think it's going to be someone who's cheaper, and that's not a bad thing. I actually like that. I wanted United to move towards that a while back because he used to sign random stopgaps for strikers. And one thing that I could fancy, maybe a 20% of me might fancy, is that keep Hoyland, get Osimhen in, make sure you rotate both of them. Because I think one problem with Osimhen is that his muscle injuries. He's very active in the final third. वो पूरा time भागता है. And that, as he grows older, he's got 26 now. Once he turns 29, that will be a major problem. He has these muscle injuries. I'm not saying often, but हाँ होता है. So if you're really signing him, you need to keep Hoyland. You can't move on Hoyland because you're relying too much on a player who can become problematic physically or unreliable in a physical sense going down the line. So if you have Osimhen, keep Hoyland. You can't have only Hoyland. And it helps both because Hoyland, abhi we're discussing, he can't carry the entire weight of the attack. So I guess something like that will help both, but I don't think it's going to be a sin. It's just his people using United's name. Probably anybody. For now, it looks like you will. And that will cause riots in Naples.
I think Costa, you might have to join and rejoin because it's like fully pixelated and your audio is fully glitched and pixelated in the end. Sorry, tech issues are बहुत है. I'm really apologize. I don't know कहाँ से my end, his end, what the tech issues are. लेकिन जो कौस्तुभ बोल रहे थे, I mean it is bang on. I don't think कि आप disagree कर सकते हो कौस्तुभ के points है वहाँ पे. What कौस्तुभ pretty much was trying to say was कि हमारा पूरा एक जो स्टाइल ऑफ साइनिंग्स है, जो अर्जेंसी है, जो डेस्परेशन था, इवन दो हम तभी फिनिश करे टॉप 2, टॉप 4 में, टॉप 2 में बोल रहा हूँ मोरिन्यो के अंदर, टॉप 2 बोल रहा हूँ ओले के अंदर, हमने जब भी वो फिनिशेस किए थे, राइट? एट दैट पॉइंट हमारी प्रायोरिटी अलग थी कि यार स्टॉप गैप लेके आओ, फाल्काओ को लेके आओ, बड़े नाम से लेके आओ. टेक्निकली ओसिमेन वो ब्रीड का साइनिंग नहीं है क्योंकि ओसिमेन में अभी भी करियर पीक बाकी है, जो माजिद आप बोल रहे हो कि ओसिमेन स्टिल हैज अ करियर पीक लेफ्ट इन हिम, राइट? ओसिमेन हैज इट इन हिम कि वो जो प्रीमियर लीग मूव उसको डेस्परेटली चाहिए, जो टू टेक हिम टू द पिनिकल उसके करियर में. सीरिया जीत के आया है, प्रीमियर लीग टीम में आएगा, उसको प्रीमियर लीग जीतना है, उसको यूसीएल में जाना है, वापस यूसीएल में खेलना है, एज उसके साथ में है, बॉडी से साथ में है. लाइक कौस्तुभ सेड की ओसिमेन हैज एन इशू विद मसल इंजरीज. यस, उसके इंजरीज इशू है वहां पे. स्ट्राइकर्स लाइक हिम हु रन अराउंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली अ लॉट. स्ट्राइकर्स लाइक ओसिमेन, जो कौस्तुभ बोल रहे थे, स्ट्राइकर्स लाइक ओसिमेन जो इतना भागते हैं, इतना खेलते हैं, उनकी ये इंजरी इश्यूज तो आ जाती है कि इनएविटेबल है क्योंकि आपको वो स्ट्राइकर या आपको फॉरवर्ड या आपके नंबर 9 क्यों चाहिए आपको? क्योंकि वो वर्क रेट के हिसाब से, क्योंकि वो उसकी मूवमेंट के हिसाब से, उनकी फ्लूइडिटी के हिसाब से, उनके फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी के हिसाब से, राइट? आपको ये सब चाहिए फ्रॉम दैट प्लेयर. तो जो इंजरी इश्यूज आएंगी, जो कौस्तुभ वाज सेइंग मसल इंजरीज, यू हैव टू डील विद इट, राइट? वो आपको प्रे करना है कि आपको कम आए या आपको कम लगे या आप उसका गेम टाइम मैनेज करो या आप उसको इंटरनेशनल मत जाने दो. वो तो बहुत सारा लॉन्ग टर्म एक कॉन्वर्सेशन है. But to the larger point, Osimhen would have been a signing जो माजिद और मैंने बोला था स्टार्ट में कि everything could have fit in, but देखो यूनाइटेड ने मिसेस किए. Like the chat is saying, right? Haaland, Ole wanted, not even a joke. 100% Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ने उसको रिबन में टाई करके before he came to United उसने दिया था कि भाई ये प्लेयर इसको आना चाहता है. Our team was chasing after you know who, मुझे नाम भी नहीं लेना because I don't want to shit on our players, right? We could have signed Sesko for 2.5 million, and that's the thing, right? Long list इसलिए आ रहे cost of, you know why it hurts. ऐसे नहीं कि हम लोग बोलते हैं ना हमारे स्काउट्स क्या करते हैं, इतने खराब है, they're so stupid, why are these players our scouts are seeing it. Our scouts report दे रहे हैं. जो हमारी नेगोशिएशन टीम थी, जो हमारी फुटबॉलिंग नेगोशिएशन टीम्स, I don't know what I don't know वो टर्म क्या है वो टीम का, क्योंकि अंडर वुडवर्ड ग्लेजर्स दैट टीम का नाम भी नहीं था. We just call them the negotiation team or footballing operations team. Terrible at their job. Not that terrible क्योंकि वो खराब थे, terrible क्योंकि उनकी क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं थी ये जॉब करना. जो हमारे ग्लेजर्स के टाइम पे फुटबॉलिंग ऑपरेशन टीम थी, उनकी क्वालिफिकेशन थे नहीं टू हैंडल द डिसीजन. तो हमारे स्काउट्स ने स्काउटिंग की थी, सेस्को, हालैंड एक्सेट्रा, जूलियन अल्वारेज. भाई जो माजिद बोल रहा है, आई एम टेलिंग यू, फॉरगेट हालैंड. मेरे लिए अल्वारेज सबसे ज्यादा पिंच करता है क्योंकि He right now could have been your enabler to a Hoyland.
Yeah.
They could have put together in tandem, right? Even in Amorim's system, Alvarez could have found a way. But ठीक है, now it is gone. क्या कर सकते हैं?
I
सेस्को
think
चला
the
गया, ये
scouting
चला गया.
thing, right?
स्काउटिंग का इशू नहीं है ना. स्काउटिंग का
Yeah,
इशू तो है,
and
था
it's
ही
like
नहीं.
a lot of bad players get scouted as well. People
Correct.
don't talk about it. Like I remember United specifically scouting Jens Peter Hauge before he moved to Milan from Bodo Glimt. And a lot of people were saying we need a right winger. We need a वो था ना that era when we thought that oh right winger चाहिए. Daniel James है. They used to shit on Daniel James and everything. A lot of people were saying we should sign Jens Peter Hauge. The guy went to Milan, couldn't do anything, had to go back. Frankfurt had a loan spell, couldn't do much. He's now back at Bodo Glimt. So a lot of bad players also get scouted. And abhi bhi, a lot of bad players are being scouted. And another miss is probably Palinia, who I know a lot of people back then when he was at Sporting. Someone told me that United were actively scouting him. This never came out. I was told this by someone at Sporting that we were actively scouting him for a good while. Never went for him. Happens. So I guess scouting ka is never an issue. Club scout, Premier League mein United have the highest number of scouts. It's like we missed out on Enzo Fernandez. There's a young South American guy called Franco Mastantuono who's been linked with Sarre clubs, with Liverpool, Inter, United as well. United have scouted him. So you can name 10,000 players who've either flopped or been successful. It's just that who's making the decisions. It's like if I'm a scout, my job is to go on my scout or go in person to just watch players. The rest of it is done by the decision makers, at that point Ed Woodward and his negotiations wala team. So it's never a scouting problem. United scouts have been really, really good. I'll never blame them for anything. It's just the people who broker the deals that are the problem.
Okay, look, chat regrets तो हर कोने पे है, हर एक जगह पे. लास्ट 12 साल यूनाइटेड में रिग्रेट्स ही रिग्रेट्स है. Bellingham, I agree with Chad, guys. Bellingham did not choose us, but that is because Javi, Sir Alex Ferguson was trying to give him the tour. Woodward and I think Richard Arnold, we know what they've done. मुझे बात ज़्यादा उनकी खींचनी नहीं है. Like I said, उन लोग का कभी क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं था to be where they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
But समझो अभी आपको किसी ने आके like think of it this way, someone says कि who will take the Manchester United job next, right? भाई Manchester United का नाम है भाई, वो आके पैसा लेके चले जाएंगे. So the aura of the club is there. People will not say no. Even the footballing operations, Woodward is not going to be like, I'm CEO of Manchester United, boss. Woodward बोलेगा मैं Manchester United का CEO. Any table, anywhere in the world, Woodward walks into, he would have been a king for 10 years. Why would you want him to turn the job down? उसको खुद को मालूम था इतने सालों में कौस्तुभ he was part of commercials, never part of footballing operations for a reason. उसको प्रमोट किया तो वो क्यों ना बोलेगा? You're like ठीक है, I'm got this, I'm all. And respectfully commercials kept coming. उसका main job जो किया उसने किया. But where it went wrong was the whole collapse of not scouting, not really Ed Woodward commercial aspect, but Woodward directing the footballing operations. वहां पे सब जगह collapse हो गया, right? Which is where we've lost Bellingham, we've lost Sesko, Haaland, Julian Alvarez. भाई players में name लो लगे, कौस्तुभ ने बोला भाई list is endless. But चलो, it is what it is. It happened, right? There's no taking it back. Kaustubh, going ahead, what is your profile of number 9? See, we are linked with a lot of names. Take a lot of names. And I did a vote, by the way. 100, I didn't even realize 100 people have replied on that vote. Kaustubh, मैंने पूछा था वो vote में कि just simply put from the Premier League, अगर जो आपको एक number, not number, that's what I'm saying. First, a profile of number 9 forward is very different, right? From the Premier League, अगर आपको choose करना होता Ollie Watkins, João Pedro, Cunha, who would you take? Number 1 आया था Matthias Cunha and then Ollie Watkins, not João Pedro, right?
Yeah.
Do you think realistically, देखो, we had a conversation with Football Banter with Mo. Mo keeps telling me that Watkins is very expensive. He's too costly for the club. Not any more costly than Osimhen. Or fits the budget key. Watkins is 29. Watkins will be 30 in the summer. Watkins आपको 2 साल देगा. And you need only 2 years from your striker to develop Rasmus Højlund, correct? Rasmus Højlund अराउंड टीम बिल्ड करना है, समझो इनियोस का वो प्लान है, fits everything. But yes, he is expensive. He will take 200k and he will cost 50 million. Even though he has 3 years left, cost of better than me. Because Villa will never make more money than they will right now. They will not sell him at 31 for 30 million. वो बेचेगी at 30 for 40, 50, 55 million, right? What do you think about these three Premier League players firstly? Or do you think they should not be considered at all? एक हमारे discussion में.
I think it will not be a Premier League striker, to be very, very frank. And अभी हम लोग scouting की बात कर रहे थे. Cunha was available for 20 fucking million. And I remember tweeting about it as well back then. This is what, 2023, January 2023, something like that. I remember getting pelters for it. He's not done anything at Atletico Madrid or for his national team. He wasn't a regular in the national team, Brazil. I got pelters for it, and some people said, yeah, we should go for it. I think Cunha is the likeliest, and I'll tell you why. And I think a lot of it is because of who he is represented by. Jorge Mendes, and the fact that he plays for Wolves. And United are very good with Mendes. Being Portuguese and the manager being Portuguese, links with, Nuno Mendes was linked before Dorgu joined. I feel like he's the likeliest option there. And I feel like he'll be the cheapest as well. And in terms of filling gaps, he probably ticks a lot more boxes than Watkins or who was the third option.
Matthias Cunha comes at less than 50 million? I think 50 million is the same range. No, that's what I'm saying.
I think 60 around is what I'm thinking.
Do you think that United can sign any player above 50 million in the summer? I think that's a maximum, and then everything will be cheaper than 50, obviously, right? That's
which
how
is
much
why
money.
which is why I said it won't be a Premier League player unless it's, say for example, Evan Ferguson Lilia. That's like, he's not done much at West Ham, but you see the potential. Injury के बाद he comes back. I'm just saying, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि Ferguson लेना चाहिए. I feel like something tells me could be Kolomuani, because also depends on where Juve finish. If they finish top 4, they can get him permanently or extend his loan. If they finish 5th, 6th, something like that, Kolomuani goes back to PSG. And Isak goes to some other club, not United. Newcastle tried to sign him, and United are also a candidate to sign. I think he's a possibility because I think he's a decent name, and he'll easily come for a much lesser fee. And he's about 25, 26. And he's a bit like Cunha. He can play wide, not wing back. Wing पे खेल सकता है, 10 पे खेल सकता है. So he fills that gap. And he plays for PSG, by the way, where United have a very good relationship, and the sporting director there knows a lot of Mendes clients. Luis Campos, who United dealt with for Ugarte. So I feel like he could be an option. He थोड़ा ओसिमन जैसा है. He's really good with his link up and movement. He's more active in the final third than Haaland in a way. Like, he makes these movements into the channels, and he can link up really well. More complete than Vlahovic, by the way. So
मैंने Vlahovic का नाम इसलिए नहीं लिया because I think we would have got dragged for 15 minutes over there. Dekho, I think the Vlahovic time is coming on, but you're better equipped than me to talk about this. मेरे लिए it's a fuck no. Fuck no, but yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think Premier League में it could be a sort of player who's not a first choice. A lot of times in the Premier League, you have, say, a midfield, or say Ipswich में you have Liam Delap. I mean, uski bhi value will be around 50 to 60, could be 70, depending on how Ipswich create that option for him in the window. Well, he's lived in Manchester, so he'll be an easier get as compared to, Cunha or anyone else. He came from the City Youth Academy. So there's these off-field options in the Premier League as well. Like for a midfield option, you can have Matheus Fernandes doing really well with Southampton. Tyler Diggling, obviously winger option and wing back option. Yeah, I'm just saying it will probably be these players and not your Watkins. Watkins तो नहीं होगा. I don't think Watkins is that United or Cardiff. He's good at Villa. I don't think he's leaving. So it'll be someone like Liam Delap or someone from abroad who's cheaper and someone who's younger as well. I'm not saying Kolomwani is like 21 or anything. I think Kolomwani, one thing that favors him is that international experience and that he plays for PSG, a club that United have dealt with. So I think I would say watch out for those rumors depending on where you
Okay. देखो Mazid, firstly the 90 million price tag is not the issue क्योंकि Kaustubh, again we know about PSG looking to offset players not too cheaply, but they need to recoup money back. Mazid, they have escaped PSR, they've escaped every not PSR, that is Premier League thing. They've escaped all possible financial fair play issues because they've shed the heavyweight players. But why do you think they've done it? And why do you think they went for Luis Enrique? Right? Why have they gone this youth approach? Why are Vitinha or Jao Neves controlling the midfield? They had a better base before. Lekin, I think personally, I have been under the opinion that Kolo Muane is wo tease. I feel what tease hai ki it'll be linked to United. It'll look like it's coming, and then someone will drag him away from us, right? Could even be Chelsea. I won't be surprised last month. Chelsea could go for anybody and anybody. Doesn't matter, right? So I don't want to get dragged by Kolo Muani, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I think Kolo Muani could himself come at 60, 65. And that is the value you get in the market. Not a Premier League में जहाँ पे João Pedro, जो yes, Brighton में अच्छा लग रहा है, everything looking good with João Pedro, but João Pedro में always वो what if doubts आ रहा है. Is it just Brighton? Does he have the physicality? I don't know about the physicality, but again, coming back to what United need, is João Pedro what United need? No. Cunha, yes, but मेरा worry about Cunha always यही था कि कौस्तुभ कि Wolves में जो you know how he drops deep and plays behind Strand Larsen, United में कैसे वो exactly हमारा प्रोफाइल अभी के लिए फिट नहीं होता है, and Amorim respectfully इतना tweak भी नहीं करने वाला है, right? So I kind of felt that the only one from all of this mess of players in the Premier League was Watkins, who shuts up and just sits on top. But you're right, I understand कि वो ही फिट नहीं है या वो विला शायद नहीं लेने जाएगा, बट अगर जो विला टॉप 4 फिनिश नहीं करता है या चैंपियंस लीग में नहीं आता है टॉप 5, विला PSR, you know this, विला will get bombarded in the summer again. They will let go of somebody, which is why I'm like, I mean, not comparing the player statures, but 12, 15, 13 years back, Robin Van Persie was 25 million. At this age, 40 or 50 million, which Villa will accept because they will have to if they don't finish it. It's the numbers. Villa is desperate to sell if they don't finish Champions League. If Champions League finish करती है Villa, तो भाई they can afford to sign 4 more players. Right?
They can sign Osimhen if that.
Exactly.
If that's
but
what we're talking
very
about.
Close. कि अभी Villa is dangling कि they are in the Champions League. भाई Villa के fixtures आप देख लो अभी. I'm telling you all, chat, just look at Villa's fixtures. Anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked, but that is why I thought Watkins was the easier option. Premier League में I felt everywhere else, Liam Delap, João Pedro, Cunha, either we get bullied on the transfer fee for sure, and that will की कैसे fit होंगे यहाँ पे. Like you said, Evan Ferguson makes more sense because again he's that guy up top, एकदम away from the mess. You know, someone not very far up top said we need a like Cavani, right? Girish said we need someone like Cavani. I agree. Look at Bruno Fernandes's numbers and assist quality, not number of assists. Bruno Fernandes की assist की quality with Cavani in this team, surreal wavelength. So I understand this, but आज के लिए आज के टाइम पे कौस्तुभ, Cavani's are limited. Which I'm saying, who wants to be a number 9? Who wants to change their profile? Who wants to have an all-rounded game as that forward? Like it's a club. They're not there anymore, right? Are they? They're not really there. Like very few exist.
I think Cavani ka reference, I thought the person closest to Cavani out there, strikers, is the person we spoke about, Osimhen. But again, same problem. I think, which is why I think Kolo Muani can definitely be a bit like that because he's very active in the final third. Like he can drag your defenses left, right, and center. He could make those right movements. But again, and I don't think Kolomani will cost too much, but because PSG have recouped like a decent fee from the loan. And what they're saying in Italy is that it will be around 30 to 40. And if you're getting on an initial loan, you just reduce the entire package. So एक season के loan में 10 million दे दिया, and then you reduce the entire permanent fee. So that can also be an option. But I think, wait, it's like, I agree, the Cavani point. But again, the problem with a lot of Cavani-like players is injuries. You need to protect them. You need to just wrap them with a cotton wool or something like that. Because the Cavani
And what
also...
Manchester United need, Kaustubh, or the physicality Premier League ki, it's always like a coin toss. Right? Which is my thing with, like you said, Osimhen. I don't think this can work out in this time for us. Right? Question marks, not on the player, just question marks about everything.
And I think if the financial issue wasn't a problem, you don't think of it, just go with Alex Isak. You don't think twice. You just go with it. And
back
I guess,
then, 5 years
yeah,
back
then.
I mean,
वो भी समय था, वो समय
120
था.
million, 120 million, 145 ले लो. It would be like, "Hey, 145 ले लो." That is why
So
we're
it's
here.
like another player who could have been an option is Santiago Jimenez. Went from Feyenoord to Milan. Doing decent. Milan में खेल रहा है, so it's like an unstable environment again. He scored a fair amount of goals. Spurs really wanted him before he went to Milan. But for now, he's not leaving from there. But I think, again, I'm talking of options that are probably not options anymore. One is Mehdi Taremi when he was at Porto. I thought he was the one that United were going to get at one point. As that centre forward who helps Højlund rotate and everything, plays when there's a need, scores goals. I loved his profile back then. Inter में अभी नहीं चल रहा है. Again, confidence problem that we spoke of. Accomplished forward, international quality, scored so many goals as national team, club player of the season, did everything. Inter gaya, confidence issue, performances drop. So it's like if Taremi can't join United because the profile he has, or the age profile more like, otherwise profile he can. His age profile is not what we're looking for. But again, I would rather keep Højlund, to be very frank.
Exactly. So this whole discussion we've understood after the first half an hour is it's Højlund, 2 years development time, better experience, slightly more physical player on top, जो उसको assist कर सके. Xerxes can be in the squad. Xerxes can go out of the squad on loan, although he's a warrior. But if we don't get emotionally attached to उसने जो किया है last 3 महीने में, it is easier for him to go out and somebody has to come in back on loan to replace him in an Amorim system. Unfortunately, ये truth है, right? This question I want to leave for you after a while. Douglas Lewis, we'll come back to this, Mazid, just 2 minutes. As much as हम बोलते हैं ना, from the back, your goalkeeper is so important. Your goalkeeper, centre back, CDM. सुनील and I both on the same wavelength. हमने सुनील ने ये डिस्कस बहुत बार किया है कि अगर जो आपका 9 की वो पर्सनालिटी नहीं है, तो आपकी टीम वैसे भी सफर करती है, because you are getting bullied, and when you're bullied and blunted from goal, your Amad Diallo जो आपके टीम में, for example, वो इतना भाग रहा था, कर रहा था, but Diallo had to run his socks off, and he's got injured for that reason. Is because he was the only one able to bully. Højlund वो bully नहीं कर पा रहा था, Xerxes अभी कर पा रहा है. Xerxes took confidence, right? Genuinely look at. Garnacho नहीं कर पाता लेकिन if he stays around. Do you think the approach should then change? कि समझो Xerxes को रखो, Højlund को रखो. And I'm not talking about the player itself, but you smartly use a player like a Nimbomo type of player. Is that a direct, क्योंकि that suits Amorim system? Is that a profile to go? कि भाई औकात देख ले हमारी नंबर 9 को इधर हमारे प्राइसिंग में नहीं है. But why don't we look at Amad Diallo's, Brian Mbomo kind of players and tweak around their positioning? Is that something you think यहाँ पे desperation में या already एक सेपरेट थॉट चालू है प्लान बी?
I think one really good point you made is that yes, center forward has to strike fear into the minds of the opposition. And I guess so much of it is about relentlessness. He, you look at, and I keep going back to Osimhen, and the reason why he's probably my favorite center forward in the world is because he just keeps running. If he fails, he comes back, makes the same move, scores a goal in the same way. Whereas you look at Hoyland, I guess it's a confidence problem. If Hoyland gets bullied by a centre back, वो थोड़ा, how do I say it, सहम जाता है. He just stops. After a while he gets back, starts doing the same thing. That comes with time. But you look at someone like Osimhen, he just keeps running. He doesn't fear anything. And it's like, no matter what happens, he's going to make it happen. If you want him to run through a brick wall, even if he gets hurt, वो करेगा. And that's what that's the sort of center forward you need, which is why Gyökeres का नाम काफी आता है in terms of that proper number 9 target. But I feel like Mbomo is not the profile. I mean, for a number 9, I feel like it has. He's more off the right.
Not number 9. That's what I'm saying. Do we
The
abandon
profile,
the next number 9 and
is
just
mentally.
change?
Yeah. It's like a lot of times it's a cultural problem at the club. Because Ahmad में हमने देखा है. Even Anthony had that. To be very frank, if Anthony you can criticize Anthony for a lot of things, but if he failed at one thing, he would do the same thing 5 other times in the same game. जब तक वो नहीं होता तब तक वो वही करे. Which is a very South American winger thing. You get that from the streets. And ideally, one
पे
player,
ले
one
लेते हैं
center
कि
forward.
कैसे नहीं होगा, मैं यही ट्राई करूंगा, मैं यही ड्रिबल ट्राई करूंगा.
Exactly.
और उससे नहीं हो रहा था. रैशफोर्ड ऑन हिज वर्स्ट डे गंदे में गंदा खेल रहा था, बट ही कुड स्टिल ड्रिबल एटलीस्ट वंस इन अ मैच. एंथनी कभी नहीं कर पा रहा था, कभी भी नहीं.
And it's like, which is why one striker who, I'm talking about street footballers. I love street footballers. That is because of this relentlessness. They just keep going. Like Kvaratskhelia is one. One player that I really wanted at United at one point, center forward, that was Kamaka. Complete center forward, has a presence, has that, how do I say it? Modern day में उसको aura बोलते हैं. He had that aura about him, which he can lead a center forward line. He can lead an attack. But unfortunately, injuries के बाद, he's sort of, I guess, he's not even played this season.
I don't want to compare it, but it similar track nahi hai, obviously. But at one point of time, if you remember, Torino striker, Belotti. Same. Pep had a great peak. Injury 1, came back, tried too much, bad. Injury 2, not long term, but then mentality dip, gone.
Yeah. And, Serie A, you look at Lautaro Martinez. Again, he doesn't give up. He just keeps going with the same thing. Uska spell aata hai where he doesn't score in 6 games running. 7 game, goes on to score a hat-trick. That's a pattern in Martinez. You have this in South Americans, probably about South Americans. They have that relentlessness about them, comes from the streets. They just keep going. So I guess, I'm not saying South Americans नहीं करने चाहिए. I love South Americans for how they play the game. But I guess I agree with what you're saying, the Mbuemo part, where you need that, I'm not saying personality, because Ahmad is not an extrovert. He barely speaks. He can barely communicate. He just has that presence about him where no matter what happens, I'll do this. The both hat-trick मार के आ गया, or stuff like that. And that, that thing about वो जो extra time में that goal against Liverpool, a youngster of 21 or whatever his age was back then, players fall apart doing that. Extra time में FA Cup, you lose, you go out. You can't do that. And Momo has that. And I guess, like, not to say that United should sign him, Ivan Toney also had that.
No, of course. I'm just saying that
Yeah,
Physical mentality, you know what I'm saying? Mentality,
yeah.
physicality. That is how the approach now. He signed
It's
those
like,
kind of players.
hmm. But it's like players like that are very rare to find. You know, if Abhi मैं बोला, if um, Ugarte is one, again, South American, not to racially profile or anything, just have it in them. They just, no matter what happens, they just go for it. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of any other player who does that because a lot of it comes from how you've been coached, upbringing, where you used to play when this player was younger and everything. Because Kamaka calls himself a street footballer and he plays like he's a street footballer. Zlatan, the reason why Zlatan worked out really well, again, street footballer, had that presence. He just went with things. Cavani same. So I guess it's like a broader discussion, but a lot of it also comes down to um, what's around you, who's playing behind you. Not everyone's Osimhen or Kane or Lewandowski, players of this type. It's like, and a lot of times you sign players who, someone like Mika Virat at Monaco, scoring a lot of goals. Tungrat se aaya, which is where Hoyland came from to Atlanta. Um, if you go for a player like that, there is like that doubt. He's done that once in the top five European leagues, and he's very relentless as well. Virat, and I really like his profile, but too early. Girish is talking about Mateta again, big fan, but will that? How much will the fee be? Because वो बोल रहे हैं कि it's um,
It's not
40
cheap.
million, 50 million. I don't think it's
मैंने
gonna
वही
be.
बात किया था. I went on that game on episode and people like मटेटा को ले ऐसे नहीं ना. I'm like मटेटा एक स्मार्ट साइनिंग नहीं है. मटेटा सबको चाहिए. और जब भी टॉटनहम जाती है या आर्सेनल जाएगी वर्सेस मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड जाएगी, अभी भी वो डेस्परेशन है कि अगर जो दे आर गोना टेक 45 मिलियन फ्रॉम टॉटनहम, 50 फ्रॉम आर्सेनल, हमारे सामने वो लोग ने डाल दिया 60 का प्राइस टैग. एंड अगेन 60 में और गेटिंग मटेटा, यू गो फॉर, देन आई एम टेलिंग यू कि forget what I said, abandon all hope, go for Colomani na instead. I'm not disrespecting Mateta कि वो प्रीमियर लीग में solid number 9. He's very good. He's very physical. Decent at trapping the ball, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But then look at the other wealth we are not letting go को Mateta के लिए is what I'm saying. Back to what you.
Well, wait. I mean, Hoyland scores 5 goals in the next 10 games. The conversation will completely change. People will be talking about, oh, we should be keeping him. That's how things just change. It requires just one flick of a switch. Hoyland scores these 5 tap-ins, and he takes his Premier League tally to what? 8 goals in the season, stuff like that. Things change. 8 goals is very close to 10 goals, and he takes it to 10 goals in all competitions and everything. Perceptions will change. And then we will be talking about signing a 30-year-old striker, Taremi, hypothetically. Things will change. So I guess Hoyland का भी जो form आ रहा है, the way last season sort of erupted in a way, we should see how it goes. Because Abhi he scored for Denmark as well, and I was reading a lot of his interviews with the Danish press. Like he's speaking like a man who's back. Like back then, he was speaking to the Dutch press. The Danish press. You could see that this is a player who's not happy, who's struggling. Now, who gave an interview to a Danish outlet. He spoke so confidently. This was before he scored against Portugal.
Of course.
Like how players talk to the press says a lot. And Usne, the way he spoke to the Danish press, told you that he's back. And he spoke about the fact that he lost confidence and he was feeling down about things. So, I guess if we have this conversation 2 weeks later, debate completely different. Debate would have been more about who should be the Hoyland, how do I say, backup. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jesse names. Don't be surprised if United get linked with Moise Kean in a month or so. I won't be surprised, honestly. a lot of experienced names. These names will come up, and I won't be.
हाँ.
I won't be too against the idea of signing an older striker if you want to continue with Holland.
That's
Because
what. That's the larger discussion. कि what's the route? I think keeping Hoyland is the route. But then आप साथ में एक 25 को sign करो, 26 Osimhen, या you go at 28, 29, 30, right? That's a larger
hmm,
conversation. Because
hmm,
it comes to then this कि फिर आप बोलोगे कि हमको एक सेंटर बैक चाहिए, हमको एक राइट बैक चाहिए. कॉस्ट ऑफ लॉट ऑफ यूनाइटेड फैंस को चाहिए था कि फ्रिम्पोंग आएगा, राइट? बट फ्रिम्पोंग रिस्पेक्टफुली लिवरपूल क्यों नहीं जाएगा? लिवरपूल नॉट
hmm,
स्पेंडिंग द डील, राइट?
hmm,
Trent is done, respectfully from what we
yeah,
understand. Why
hmm,
Frimpong in United जब भी Champions League ही नहीं है, right? So these players are not going to come. So then, how do you entice quality centre back, right winger? क्योंकि समझो सैंचो चला गया, एंथनी चला गया, there's a hole over there. We need a right winger backup at least. Right wing back, जो भी profile चाहिए वहाँ पे. So then, कैन यू अफोर्ड 26-year-old स्ट्राइकर, या आप बोलो कि मैं एक्सपीरियंस स्ट्राइकर लेके जो उसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट 1-2 साल बाकी है, आई रैप इट अप इन 45 million एंड गेट माय अदर प्लेयर्स फॉर अनदर 60-70 million, राइट?
hmm.
दैट्स व्हाट वी कैन अफोर्ड. 120, 125, 130 जो सेल्स आएंगे is what we can net spend. That's it. There is no up and down. It's in sorry, players out इतने में, players in इतने में, that is it.
Yeah. And I guess one player we've not talked about is Gyökeres.
I I I didn't want to bring it up because like कोई chat में बोलेगा बस भाई हर बार
Yeah,
कौस्तुभ chat में you can't be negative. Amorim has pulled. He wants Gyökeres, but we can't afford 80 million, 75 million. ना we can't afford
I
it
think
क्योंकि और कोई आ ही नहीं पाएगा उसके बाद. It's crazy.
the Portuguese press is confident that if Gyökeres wants to leave, they'll accept a fee of around 60 to 70. So if that is true, you just go with it. I mean, I
Of
know.
course, if 60,
Yeah.
65,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
60, 65 goes to 75 in 5 years. 75 goes to 90, and वो है ही नहीं, वो 15-20 की अभी ताकत ही नहीं है, औकात नहीं रही यूनाइटेड की,
Hmm. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Hmm. And it's like if say Gyökeres fails, if Gyökeres fails, the memes that United will make about him, United fans, they'll call him a championship player. That is what I'm fearful of. If Gyökeres joins United, scores 9-10 goals in a season, he'll be called a Coventry City level player. That is peak Mark Goldwich behavior.
But
That is what I'm scared of.
भाई वो तो मुझे डर हर एक प्लेयर का लग रहा है आजकल ना, which is why I'm like, Dorgu has come with such shitly low expectations. I'm telling you, United should go and find diamond in the rough in the bottom 10 in every league and come back. I'm not even
Yeah,
shitting you.
I agree.
मुझे देखना ही नहीं है कि प्लेयर्स आके यहाँ पे फेल हो. Genuinely as a United fan, मैं फुटबॉल फैन बनना चाहता हूँ. I don't want to see players come and fail and ruin their careers anymore. Because
Yeah.
हमारी footballing troll on Twitter is like 100 million capacity. कि एक मिस टच होता है एंड ब्रो 75 million को 7 million कर देंगे. Our own fans troll our players more than the rivals do. Right? That is the problem because of bridges and scum like that. So,
And I think one you mentioned diamond in the rough that we've not mentioned is Bologna ka Santiago Castro, who essentially replaced Zirkzee
let's see.
at the club. He's what 21, 20, and there's a chance he ends up at Inter in the summer for 30 to 40 million, which is big for Inter, but not big for a West Ham, United, Tottenham, Arsenal. He's South American, relentless. And if say he joins Inter, replaces Taremi, I'm guessing, or just becomes a squad option, there'll be a time 2 years, 3 years down the line when he gets linked to United, or if he scores 7 goals, 7 more goals over Bologna. I think he has 9 or 10. ऐसा कुछ है. He reaches a 15 goal mark, 17 goal mark. The United ka name pops up. I'm not against it. I know he's into his first season. Not first season, first full season. बोला है January 2024 में आया था. I really like him. There's also a Lecce striker, Nikola Kristovic, who's been linked to United in the past, by the way. Dodu knows him well. Similar sort of physical presence, has that personality. Um, I mean, doing well, really well this season. So players like that, you can have players of that type in the other leagues as well. The Germany striker, um, I can't remember his name for some reason. Gladbach striker scored against Italy.
हाँ हाँ
Guys
हाँ
like that.
हाँ हाँ हाँ
Kleinstein, I guess that's his name. So I guess
The
players like
names are
that.
there. Basically,
Yeah.
Kaustubh, the names are there. Players है. तो हमने ये डिस्कस किया था over the last year. Where are your number nines? Where are your forwards? Have the profiles changed? Where are your bulky guys? Where your Lukaku's are different? Everyone is different. Like, where are these guys? क्या हो रहा है? क्या हो रहा है? But clearly, for all three traditional or modern footballing ecosystem में जैसे आपको आपके number 9 को slot करना है, number 9 as a forward, as a, all those terminologies combined, there are clearly enough players to suit all of them, right?
Yeah.
मोर अबाउट कि यूनाइटेड को अभी क्या करना है एमोरिम के लिए और एमोरिम क्या इन्वेस्ट करता है फ्रॉम द बोर्ड. इफ रैटक्लिफ हैज कमेंटेड कि आई एम बैकिंग दिस गाय, मुझे बहुत पसंद है, ही इज कमेंट सेड इट, इट्स नॉट वी आर मेकिंग इट अप, ही हैज कमेंट सेड इट, राइट? am I missing something? रियान मस्ती करो मेरे साथ. United has to take that stand कि क्या long term structure है for Amorim for the next 2 years. क्योंकि respectfully, Kaustubh, मैंने बोला था कि United, Amorim can afford to leave tomorrow. United can't afford him to leave for the next 2 years. क्योंकि there is no next Amorim, like there's no next Ten Hag जो था ना, Ten Hag was the next guy. फिर Slot था, फिर Amorim था. Now there is still that Hoynes they keep saying, but respectfully not going to work out. We're at a plateau की यहाँ पे decline ही है इसके बाद. So you build him for 2 years. So he says, I want Rasmus. I like Rasmus. I like Mason Mount. They're like, okay, Mason Mount, but he's dog shit injuries. Okay. What do you want, Amorim? This is what our footballing team says. तेरे को ये चाहिए. Our footballing team says you have to play like this. ये हमारा recruitment है. That marriage has to happen right now till the summer. Do you think that marriage gets you? Now I'll come back to Douglas Luiz, for example. Juve could offload him at 30 million. Do you think these are smart signings? Because Douglas Luiz, Premier League proven player, very versatile, very solid. Injury is not the worst, but look, it is now what it is when it happens. Or do you think we just cherry pick these rejected players failing? I know Hollywood movie जैसा है ना कि collect them and make them your saviors and them.
Yeah. I mean, Douglas Luiz specifically, I won't mind that. Honestly, Douglas Luiz had a bad relationship with Thiago Motta from the very first day.
Rian, it's okay. Don't worry. We will happily educate you with footballing questions as you want. Rian's a regular, Kaustubh.
Acha.
Problem, Rian. Continue.
Coming back to Douglas Luiz, I wouldn't mind him. Why? He had a bad relationship with Thiago Motta, who's now gone. Abhi Igor Tudor has come in. He might use him in a better way. Douglas Luiz के साथ बहुत बुरा हुआ है यूवे में, to be very honest. He came directly from the international break. Didn't get a 2-week off or anything like that. Came out directly into a new tactical system. Can play 6, can play 8. But I guess the weird part about is he probably will want Champions League football. And because he played in the Champions League, the potential suitors for him will probably be in the Champions League. Nottingham Forest being one, City potentially being one, Chelsea maybe. You have these clubs interested. So, and you will only want a permanent deal. A player who hasn't done well, you can't. It's a risk to shell out 40 million. I mean, about 25 million hota. 25 million is absolutely nothing for Douglas Luiz. Age on his side, he's 26, 27. You go for it. Okay. I mean, I guess where United are, we're still one disaster away from going with rejects. It's just me thinking out loud. If say Amorim
No,
goes
of
wrong,
course, that is a 50% probability at any given stage, if not
yeah.
60%.
So if say
60%. Easy.
hypothetically
Huh?
Amorim goes wrong, then um, I don't know what we do. We Thomas Frank अपनी औकात से ज़्यादा. I really like Thomas Frank. He's a really good
Interest.
manager. I wanted him at United pre Amorim. I guess back if things get that bad, that's when we go for rejects. For now, and I think when it comes to the idea of rejects, United can't be worse than 8th or 9th. Okay. Even at that point, clubs joined Brighton. Clubs joined Newcastle. Tonali went to Newcastle for 72 million when there was no European football. And he got them to European football, won the cup, the League Cup and everything. So it's either way is fine. Till the time that profile matches what we want. Because Brentford got Michael Coyote from Fiorentina. A really good player, didn't play in the first half of this season, isn't doing much at Brentford, but still a really good talent. But again, diamond in the rough wala profile. And at the same time, thoda reject wala bhi profile, but I think it's not that bad yet that we just signed rejects. I mean, it's one thing that United still have a reputation for is the youth. No matter
And
what happens.
youth, so look, youth we know, right? Youth is coming up. Chido Obi is there. Chido Obi is literally one. I think Chido Obi is that guy जो next year शायद breakthrough करेगा at a time where we have an experienced striker.
Yeah.
And if Rasmus Højlund fails in a year and a half still, he'll be shipped off to Serie A for 40 million, right? Or 30 million, whatever. That is
Hmm.
Chido Obi part. Amad Diallo is obviously from the youth. He'll be 26, 27. Peak पहुंच जाएगा तभी. Garnacho most likely on agree will be gone. But you have other players in position. Dorgu will develop. Diego Leon develop karega. Very big apparent prospects on Diego Leon. Not apparently squad player. Apparently challenging Dorgu level. That's what they claim.
Hmm.
I don't do it from what I understand, what I've read. मेरा but interpretation गलत हो सकता है वहाँ उसके बारे में. So youth is there. We have other players coming in. We have Morehouse who's been coming in and out of the squad. With powerhouse in the midfield from our academy, which we've been lacking. Right? Someone there who can do it. But वो एक जो stop gap है ना बहुत बड़ा है. The time that they will take to actually integrate all of them into the first team, जहाँ पे you have a time where 3 players from your academy are purely playing like class of 92 types.
Hmm.
I think there's a
Hmm.
big gap waiting for that to happen. So who are the guys going to fill in on that gap, right? Ki, now, like for example, a Trinka, right? It's a very easy link, Mo. I think I'm guessing Mo is here.
Yeah.
But is Trincao still your answer? I know even though it's Ruben Amorim, but is Trincao your answer to these issues? I don't think so.
Hmm. I think the fee is appealing. That's the entire point.
Yes, for sure.
He's
He's right about that. Yeah.
put some 35 million or something. That is the fee
Plus,
that
yeah.
was quoted when Milan actually wanted him. And again, the reason why Milan wanted him was because of Jorge Mendes. And that in itself tells you that a lot of deals that United will do in the summer can be Mendes deals or, Portuguese links wale deals. Could be Morten Hulman as a midfield option, Sporting Ka, Trincao, could be Diomande. All these players in specifically at Sporting in this case. Right. That's what I feel. There'll be this reliance on how there can be an easy deal to do, be it through agents or be through how Amorim can potentially convince them to join. Well, there'll be no European football, guaranteed, unless the unlikely possibility of winning the Europa League, which I don't think will happen. If that happens, game changer. I don't think that'll happen. So when that happens, all you rely on, naam to nahi hai United ka. It's not that scary brand name that it used to be without Champions League football. We're not in that position anymore. What you can do is probably use the low-hanging fruit in the market. The release clauses, the players that Amorim wants. There's a clause, the agent stuff, जैसे Mendes का मैं बोला, which is why I thought a lot of these older relations that United have with your PSGs, Mendes, these will be exploited as if that's a gold mine. So I'm fairly convinced it will be an attempt at the low hanging fruit. And now that's a broader term because मैं बोला, it's either agent stuff or your players like Aiden Heaven, honestly, because if he wanted to join, was leaving Arsenal, 1 million fee costs absolutely nothing. You know, these
Exactly.
low value deals, cheap deals. And that is absolutely fine to me. मेरे को वो चलेगा. I wanted this to happen for a while. It's
Correct.
finally happening when we're, I don't know, 13th या जो भी है. But I'm glad that at least there will be an identity shift. It took rock bottom for it to finally appear because जब top 4 में आते थे, ऐसा था. We thought, why settle for the Kamara who went to Aston Villa when you can go for Declan Rice and you end up missing out on Declan Rice because you wanted Cristiano Ronaldo.
बिल्कुल.
That's the top 4 advantage. Now that you lost it, you feel this identity crisis ki ab kya kare. Now you realize that you go for the sensible deals. I wanted this to happen back in 2019 when we didn't do it. Finally, it's time. I think that's what's going to happen. It won't be a Premier League player. It's either
हाँ.
Hoyland staying or someone coming from another league altogether. Could be a Benfica striker. Could be Gyökeres because Amorim connection. There will be a connection no matter what.
ठीक है, चलो, we've gone on to 1 hour 27 minutes. I know you didn't have that much time. I don't want to take more of your time.
No,
but
I
we'll,
do.
we'll end this in the next 5 minutes to round up this discussion. क्यों number 9 का मैंने आज बात किया. Again, really appreciate everybody who's tuned in for this for the last hour and a half. I know IPL is very tempting, but look, football is football. I prefer talk about that today than anything else. Look, Trent is gone to Madrid. लिवरपूल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है ये डिस्कशन में. मैं क्यों बोल रहा हूँ रुको. सबको मालूम है आर्सेनल इज द नंबर 9. आर्सेनल विल गो फॉर नंबर 9. लिवरपूल विल गो फॉर नंबर 9. City are secure with Marmoush and Haaland. Big relief, by the way. They would have destroyed the transfer fees even more. ठीक है. Isaac goes anywhere. Newcastle, if they finish 5th, Newcastle go for a number 9. So things are not stacked in our favor, right? For example, now, and wrapping up on this larger discussion, Trent is gone. Frimpong, not saying Liverpool will go for him, but why would he not consider with the transfer in mind? Right? Liverpool have Kirkes as an example, Frimpong, whatever. Why would those guys come to United, right? So यहाँ पे Liverpool restructuring बात करे, where they're potentially going to replace Salah and Trent is what I feel. I think Virgil stays, right? Now, those are the two kind of, again, positions we are looking at. So we can't expect these 40 million guys to also come to us when Liverpool will go at them in Champions League football, right? How much does Liverpool still play in this for us? Arsenal want a striker. Liverpool are the ones who are going to hurt us in this position race if they meet pricing, right? What do you think about that? Liverpool's mix in all of this.
I think Arsenal are going for Isak. If they get him or not is a different discussion altogether. It's either Arsenal or Barca. So I think to me it feels like it'll probably be Arsenal because उन्होंने इतने टाइम से striker नहीं sign करा था. I mean a proper number 9, not the Gabriel Jesus gimmick, the Havertz gimmick.
I can't understand that, but
they have, and with the Champions League and everything, they'll have enough in them to at least sit on the table with Newcastle and tell them that we have Champions League football. We're offering you this. What happens after that, we don't know because Barcelona are there. वो कुछ ना कुछ करके will obviously attempt that. But I guess you're right because Liverpool are traditionally not the club who go for that prime target. You know, they either miss out or they don't consider those moves at all. I know they've had some failed moves. They tried to sign Kvaratskhelia, didn't work out. The Chiesa move has not worked out. That's a different discussion altogether. But one other area where Liverpool can compete with United is the type of signings we want. Because FSG are not your, they'll not spend that 200 million on Harry Kane. They'll not pay 100 million for Victor Osimhen. They'll rather shell out 50 million on Liam Delap or any other striker. They're the sort of club who'll probably sign Mateus Fernandes. That's where we are now after multiple failures, one misprofiling after another. So that will be a competition. But I think Van Dijk is staying. Something tells me Salah is also staying. I think Salah stays. If he doesn't, Mbomo becomes a big option. And I guess the right back thing is weird because I think as much as I like Frimpong, I watched him a lot at Celtic. I know he's developed since then, but if you want to sign a worse defender than Trent Alexander-Arnold, you have one in Frimpong. To be very, very honest, I remember watching him at Celtic at right back, at right mid, at wing back as well. That was the Scottish Premiership. The good part that um, is that he plays in the Bundesliga where it's a completely different ball game. The setup is completely different. I'm not disgracing
Of
the
course,
Bundesliga. It's more about
of
the
course, of
setup.
course.
I feel like it's the game will entirely change with Frimpong. I'm not hating on him. I love his personality, the way he's come through Celtic, Man City, and everything. But something tells me that I just have doubts, and I can be wrong as time goes on, that he will probably struggle more in a defensive phase than Trent did. He's not he's not a defensive player at all from what I've seen over the last, like, this is his Celtic era I'm talking about. This is
No, no, of
2019.
course, of
He's
course, of
not a
course.
defensive player at all. He made these silly errors which अब मेरे को नहीं पता, they don't really get highlighted in the Bundesliga because the emphasis is completely elsewhere, and it's Jabi Alonso speaking of, and the champions Bayer Leverkusen. So I think it's, as much as Leverkusen would want to push him to a major club because they want the money and they'll probably replace him in an even better way, I am generally never in favor of a Frimpong move for over 50 million. If you're signing Frimpong, you sign him for a fee that's not high, because I have obvious doubts about the player. But if you say bring in someone like Mbomo, ask him to play wing back, which a player like Ahmad already has done at United. Sporting में Trincao has also played at wing back, just so we know. Amorim does that because a lot of it is about final third occupation, controlling play from the back three. You
Correct.
pin the opposition in the final third. But the Premier League is a different ballgame. The amount of sprints the opposition makes past you to counter you, it's a completely different ballgame as compared to any other league. And that's where it can fall apart for someone like Frimpong, who has these. He's not athletic by any means. Trent wasn't as well, but Trent had that um, presence. I guess he was taller, and over time he just grew into something of a muscly and bulky player. Frimpong का
I think we've lost Kaustubh again. Just wait 5 minutes, 2 minutes for him to come back. Discussing Frimpong, अगर जो आप कोई tune in करे हो right now. By the way, again, thank you so much for tuning in during IPL. I know it is a busy time and cricket is very enticing. But आज लगा यार बात कर देते हैं more or less about views and just having a good discussion. First 20 minutes of this episode were unfortunately gone because of tech issues. तो मैं वो mark करके रखूंगा. If you're tuning in right now, you can watch this episode after the first 20 minutes when the tech issues have mostly abated. But yeah, wait for Kaustubh to come back, what he was saying. Anyway, till Kaustubh comes back, थोड़ा मैं wrap up कर देता हूँ यहाँ पे and let him come back and finish his point. Manchester United need a number 9. They need a striker, they need a forward. Whatever you want to say, that's how I'm like making it loose. Someone who, जो उसने बोला, अगर जो Osimhen आता है ना, even at the wages he comes from, he will help the team score 20 more goals, and 20 more goals from Victor Osimhen will help United be a much better rounded team and much more robust team. Welcome back, Kaustubh. I was just wrapping up for everybody. Just finish your point on Frimpong and then we'll end.
no. I was just repeating myself. He, I just have concerns. I would rather um, go for an up and down player who's just, even if he's a shade better at defending, he's just more athletic. I think he just fits the bill more. Plus, I think um, a lot of it is also about the control United exert using their backline. Because you look at Inter with their back three, there is so much control, especially using the wide centre backs, and how mobile they are, how well they control play, how versatile they can be depending on what the need is. वो आगे चले जाते हैं. If their wing backs, say Demarco or Dumfries, are fairly attacking players, but if you bring a Demarco to this United team, he'll absolutely struggle because he's a bad
Exactly.
defender, to be honest. Dumfries, different case. But
Exactly. Wo,
and
again,
Frimpong is and even worse
leagues
defender.
apart. The argument
Yeah,
is leagues apart is because the leagues are apart, not the players'
yeah,
league. Player की
yeah.
quality नहीं, the leagues are apart in the way they play. Which is why
And I'm not saying
sometimes when
one league is bad.
yeah,
It's just the nature of the league.
and the excitement होता है Kaustubh नहीं यार Frimpong नहीं this one नहीं that one, but sometimes when you broadly say something like Bundesliga players struggle in the Premier League, it's mostly true. Gundogan is the biggest success I remember from the Bundesliga at Man City. But look at Gundogan's profile and respectfully look at the team Gundogan came into. Look at the people around him.
Yeah.
Werner, Havertz, respectfully, both struggled. Havertz is still done better off eventually leaving Chelsea, but struggled with the pressure.
Mm.
Sancho, I'm not broad stroking here. Sancho is an English player brought up with the English academies. Sancho is a problem himself, nothing to do with coming from the Bundesliga. But we have seen that. And that is not that the players are bad. Like in the league, when they play 5 years or they start at 16, 17, 18 there, it goes differently when they have to come back and be physical and pushed around and bullied down and track back and put in work rate and a lot of consideration, which is why I'm very, like you said, for me, Frimpong should not be an option. And I'll end on this note, Kaustubh, unfortunately, because even I have to leave. Someone told me if Madrid have signed Trent Alexander-Arnold, United should take Carvajal. And I said, please stop watching football. I like we cannot do this again to ourselves. If our thought process immediately goes that way, then you should understand that this is where the problem and started for United, and this is where the problem will keep going on if we make such moves.
Yeah.
But Kaustubh, thank you so much for joining in. आज थोड़ा frustrating रहा है chat. I know that there were a lot of tech issues on my end with my echo. I apologize about that. But a very good discussion, Kaustubh. I think this is more educational for me every time I talk to you, and as much as for chat. But let's do the next one sooner than later because we don't want to keep a 2-month gap. Let's try doing one next week if possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Taro, thank you so much, chat, for tuning in. Please go enjoy IPL now. Go enjoy. I think player must be killing it, I think. See you guys next time or in tomorrow's chat. And we'll try doing it earlier as well. So you don't have to choose between watching football and IPL. Thank you, Kaustubh.
Thank you. Great to be here.